The U.S. is banning new foreign-made humanoid robots. The U.S. Federal Communications Commission says it wants to secure critical supply chains, with imports of advanced robots posing risks to what it considers national security. But Beijing's foreign ministry says Washington is trying to suppress Chinese enterprises.
中方一贯坚决反对美方泛化国家安全概念，打压中国企业。保护主义提升不了美国的竞争力，只会损害美国企业和消费者的利益。中方将继续采取必要措施，坚定维护中国企业的正当合法权益。
CNA's Krystal Chia reports on the response from Chinese industry leaders.
This push to engage China comes amidst what we are seeing, especially in recent months, this increasingly powerful AI capability by China. We remember Moonshot's Kimi K3, a large language model startup that rattled markets, especially as financial investors started to question about whether America's lead in the AI race is safe. And now this week, there was another tech in the spotlight, DUV machines. So these are chip-making tools, and this tech is currently being dominated by Dutch supplier ASML. But we are reading media reports citing anonymous sources that a little-known state-backed company called Aishengna, they have started production of these tools. Now, the technology is still being tested here, but if successful, it would represent a big win for Beijing's drive for self-sufficiency. Now, as this race intensifies, several tech leaders have started to address this rivalry. Meta Platforms' Mark Zuckerberg said that banning Chinese AI would not be an effective solution, and that he urged U.S. companies to look at their own bottlenecks to see how to better compete with China. And over here, the founder of Zhipu AI, that's one of our large language model startups, the founder has released an internal memo last month saying that he believes frontier AI should stay open, it should remain broadly accessible to all, and that it should not be only controlled by a select few.
Jagruti Dave tracking this story for CNN. She joins us live from Washington, D.C. Jagruti, the FCC chair is saying it's just doing its part to secure critical supply chains. Tell us about the coverage of this ban. Why now, and why these particular imports?
Yeah, if we look at what this ban involves, it's for imports of new Chinese humanoid robots and robots that take the form of four-legged animals, that's quadruped robots. The FCC here has already also banned connected power inverters. So this is used to connect solar powers to electric grids or data centers, which has the potential to get hacked, officials say. So the FCC said that advanced robotic devices produced abroad posed national and cybersecurity risks to the United States. There's concerns that these robots could be used to surveil Americans, or there could be a remote takeover of these robots. The other aim is to boost domestic industry supporting American growth of AI. China has obviously hit back, as we've heard, saying that it's a smear on Chinese company and is threatening them with sanctions. But the timing is interesting because it comes as there's a real boom in this area, specifically in the production of quadruped robotics. And the US is competing to race with China, which is by far the world's leader, accounting for around 85% of the global market share. And I think the US wants to avoid a situation where there's a heavy reliance from US companies on Chinese tech and Chinese products, as there has been in mainly the rare earth. Most recently, we've been talking about the rare earth minerals sector. So they're trying to avoid another situation like that, and they're trying to give themselves a leg up in the industry.
All right, this is just part of a widening crackdown on Chinese tech, curbing the import of Chinese tech and the export of any US contribution to China developing its tech. Is there potential for this restriction to expand further to other areas of the tech industry?
There is a distinct possibility that it could happen. We've already seen a number of import bans on Chinese tech, for example, drones, on the exports of and on the exports of US advanced technology to China, because many in the US and senior officials have been accusing China of intellectual property theft, which is something obviously that China is denying. The US, we understand, is also looking at restrictions on Chinese open source AI models. So there is a real sense that the United States is looking at sectors that are lucrative, where they could be at a disadvantage. If you just look at the numbers here, Morgan Stanley is predicting that the market for humanoid robots could be worth $5 trillion by 2050. So a ban of this kind of foreign imports would certainly give the US an advantage, and they're clearly on the lookout for other sectors where they can keep competition fresh with China.
Thanks. Jagruti Dave speaking to us there from Washington, D.C.